Cheese on bread. What's going on? We are back again for another episode of the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast. Cheese. If you're new here, this is the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast. If you're a mobile DJ and you're trying to get more bookings and you're trying to up your business, this is the podcast for you. And when it comes to growing your business, your DJ business, and to be fair, any business in whatever industry you're in, one of the things I fully champion, which I know you guys have heard me talk about, is networking. Now, I'm going to be totally honest. When I used to hear the word networking, it used to scare me. But I'm going to simplify as much as possible. Networking is talking to other like-minded people about things that can help you and the person you're talking to. It's not nothing to be scared of. Just look at it as just talking to like-minded people, not randoms, not people that you don't understand what they're talking about. No, people that you understand what's going on and you can have a conversation. And from that conversation, lots of things can blossom, guys. Lots of things. And some things you could never even put your finger on until after the networking. And then the things that follow on from that, you will look back in 2 years and say, wow, that stemmed from that conversation at that place. Networking, it's a major key. Something that I'm interested in is bringing you guys different places where you can network. Don't get me wrong, you lot know I'm bragging about social media all day long, and we can network on social media, of course. But I think the real-time meetups, the physical places where you can go, shake hands with people, say, yeah, man, I saw your thing there, or can you help me with this, or is there something I can help you with this, or you could try and do this better, or have you tried this? These conversations can grow lots of different things. Now, but we need to find places where these conversations are happening. Now, looking at my stats, I've got listeners all up and down the country. We do Level Up Live, and remember, early bird tickets are about to run out. There's only 5 left, guys. There's 5 super early bird tickets for Level Up Live. Head into the link in the description. Head into the Mobile DJ Mastery website. Cop those tickets so you can save yourself some money. And the networking that happens here is second to none. But we are down in Hemel Hempstead, and I know a lot of you will travel. But at the same time, we've got people up in Leeds, Manchester, Scotland, Newcastle. Listeners, you guys are listening from everywhere. So I'm on a little bit of a mission to try and find little events or other different social creator meetups where you guys can meet and network with other DJs, other like-mindeds, other entrepreneurs, other people that are chasing business and trying to do things by themselves just like we are. You know what I'm saying? So some of my episodes over the next few months are going to be featuring people that are actually putting on different types of events in the hope that you guys, depending on where you're listening from, we can find different events that you might not know about that will be local to you, which hopefully you can attend and we can do what we spoke about 2 minutes ago. And today I'm going to be talking to Joe Reeves, who puts on an amazing event called the Creative Meetup, where I think we need more of these things, these kind of events. Guys, I'm telling you, these kind of events are major key. So let's talk to Joe and find out if it's close to you, because I think it may be. And if it's something that you can attend, then why not? But anyway, before we get into all that good stuff, you know what we gonna do? We gonna roll that sexy intro. Days. Look who I have beside me. It's the man himself, Joe Reeve, man. What are you saying, my bro? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Nah, man. Thank you for coming along. This is going to be a really good chat. I've seen some stuff I want to definitely talk about. And I want to bring that to the pod. And also, I've got some other questions that I always ask my sax players when it comes to DJs as well. So I think it's going to be beneficial for everyone. And it's going to be a great chat. So do you know what I mean? So, but before we get into some great stuff, there's some things I want to talk about. You've done some awards. You've got an event that you're putting on. Your content looks sharp. It looks clean. But before we get into all of those stuff, because it's all going to sound like, how did he get here? We want to kind of know. I always start my podcast, Joe, with trying to find out, you as a saxophone player, what is it that kind of got you into the saxophonist stuff? Like, when did this kind of all start? From what I can see, it looks like it was 2013 in Newcastle. But Newcastle, you know, but tell me I could be wrong. It might have been before that. When did this all start?
So if we're going to go way back, so I was 6 when I first picked up a saxophone. I was very young. I'm 32 now, so it's been a long time.
6 years old?
Yeah, I know. I
What,
was very
how did you even get access to a brass instrument at that age? Because usually
so.
the recorder is normally what would people would start on.
I know. Well, I did actually play the recorder as well. So, but yeah. So when I was 6, so I used to watch The Simpsons a lot when I was younger. I think that's how it kind of started. Really, I used to
No
watch
way.
Lisa
Okay.
Simpson. So I used to watch a lot of that. And I do get people when I do gigs come saying, "Oh, you're just like Lisa Simpson." Oh, and it's like. Yeah, of course. It's like so. Yeah, so basically, how it all started was watching The Simpsons, and then my primary school they were big on well, they were very big on the arts and like performing, and they used to have a guy come in and teach saxophone, and he
Oh
came
wow.
into one of our assemblies and showed us a load of different woodwind instruments, so like flute, clarinet. I think he even sort of showed trumpets, and then a sax. He got out a saxophone. I thought, oh, I like that. It looks really cool. So I went home to my mum and dad saying, oh, I want to learn the saxophone. And yeah, they were like, yeah, sure. Because my dad's a musician as well. So he's a drummer and a singer, but he mainly did it part time. He worked for British Gas during the week and then played in pubs. And well, I'm from originally in Felixstowe, Suffolk. So, and he was like,
Okay.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, we could play it. And then, but so from 6 to about 14, it was really just a hobby, really, because when you get to that age when you're a teenager, you don't think it's cool. Oh, this ain't cool. I don't want to do this. Like, oh,
Yeah, and all the boys are not doing it, so it doesn't really. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly, yeah. So I was just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, but my dad and mum were like, as long as you're living in this house, you're not quitting. You're going to keep doing this because it's a cool thing to do. And my dad said, you'll thank me one day. And I don't like to admit he's right most of the time, but on this occasion he was right because I do. Again, I wouldn't be talking to you today if I had given up. So
Yep, yep,
yeah,
yep.
so he said, as long as you're living in this house, you're going to keep playing it. So yeah, just kept doing it. And then when I got to high school, so again, my high school was a visual and performing arts college, so they really specialised in the arts and performance. And we used to have a Christmas and summer concert every year, and then alongside those, we'd have chamber concerts. And I joined the school jazz band, and the jazz band was really good because we'd go out into the town and do performances, not just in school. So say there's a new a car dealership that's just opened, and they'd get us to perform there. And then we'd
Nice.
also go around Europe as well. We went to France, we went
Whoa,
to the
whoa, 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 whoa,
Netherlands.
whoa, whoa, hold on. What age is this? You just told me school. Did you say college? What?
So school, so basically high school. So our
Your high
jazz
school
band,
was taking. Sorry, your high school was taking you abroad to play.
yeah, we'd go
Oh my
abroad. So the first
days.
abroad gig I did, I was 13, 14, and went to the Netherlands. So played in Amsterdam. So yeah, so that was cool. And then yeah, we went to France, went to Paris to perform. That was when I was in sixth form. Also went to where else did we go? Went to Belgium as well. So yeah, we got they really did push for the arts in our school, and that's kind of. And then when I got to like 14, when I started my GCSEs, that's when it was that kind of. You don't realize it at the time, but sometimes you have that spark where it's like this really changed. Like this is where I kind of found my purpose, or when things really started to
Mm,
change. Like this was the first day of the rest of my life kind of moment.
gotcha.
And I got a new saxophone teacher when I started my GCSEs, because the last one I had was. He was a good teacher, but very old fashioned, just very much like going through the grades, doing it. It was just like, and it used to be so boring. Like, because what was good about being able to have lessons, you'd come out of class as well. But then it was at a point where I was like, I don't actually want to leave class because these are so boring, these lessons. But I got this new guy called Martin Robertson who changed my life really. I owe him everything. And when I bumped into him a couple of years ago, I said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this today. And I said, oh, don't be silly, Joe. It's all you. But no, he really, and he just made it more like fun, more interesting. And he said to me, look, this comes very natural to you. You're good at sight reading. You can pick up stuff quite quickly. You've got a good ear. You just need to work on your timing a bit. But you're year 10 now. You need to take more of a leading role in the jazz band now. You need to do more solo performances. And so he really pushed me. He was like, because I used to be into my sports. I played basketball at a highest sort of level. I played National League, but I knew I wasn't going to be the next Michael Jordan because I couldn't even touch the ring. So I was just like, no. So I thought, well, that's a bit of a lost cause, really. So I was just like, yeah, I gave that up and then started taking music a bit more seriously. And then I did my first solo performance at the one of our summer concerts, and that's when the sort of performance bug really hit me. Really, sort of played. It was Billy Joel's "Just the Way You Are." I played alongside a singer, and yeah, just that clap afterwards and sort of people sort of applauding you. It was just, I thought, I like this feeling. This is really. It's like, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to describe really, but it was just, that's where I really caught the performing bug, and I thought, you know what, I want to do this, take this a bit more seriously now. I want to do more, just really explore where I can take this, because I struggle. I wasn't very book smart at school. I was predicted to leave school with no GCSEs whatsoever. Some like years 7 to 9, I really did not enjoy high school. To be honest, I didn't really enjoy high school in general, but once I found that kind of, sound a bit cliche, but purpose, like when I started playing the saxophone a lot more seriously, I found that, okay, well, if I want to keep performing, if I want to keep doing this, I need to just kind of buckle down and just kind of get on with my studies and try and prove all these people wrong, because they were like, oh, well, because I had one teacher said to me, I'll be lucky enough to get a job in McDonald's. And I was just, well, cheers for that. I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to really get the best grades I can do, keep doing this and because I think the better grades, the better GCSEs I get, then I can go on to sixth form, I can keep performing, keep sort of honing my skills really, and keep improving as a performer. So I got to the end of my GCSEs, finished with better GCSEs than what people predicted, and then I got to sixth form, where again we're still getting the chance to perform, and this is when I started performing outside of high school. So I played with my dad's band a couple of times, just exploring new things, and then taking much more of a leading role in the music department with the summer. With the concerts in school concerts, again being like first alto and first tenor sax in the jazz band, taking more solos, and then playing in smaller groups in school. So and then again like sixth form, my head of sixth form, we kept clashing, because he's like, well, yeah, you did really well GCSE, Joe, but A levels is just one step a bit too much. I don't think you're not university material. It just basically just trying to just put me down in every sense. And I don't think he's a bad person. I think it's just he wasn't very good at his job, because it's like that saying, you keep doing the same thing again and again. It's just, they're the sort of people, even though it's like they keep doing the same thing, and they're saying, oh, why don't you go and do an apprenticeship? That'd be much better. And I tried an apprenticeship, didn't work, because I dropped out of sixth form for a month, and then came back, and he said, oh, I didn't think that apprenticeship was going to work out. And then when I get to the end of sixth form, he's saying to me like, oh, well, yeah, you're not university material, you shouldn't really, like, maybe do an apprenticeship. And I'm like, well, hang on, you told me going to do an apprenticeship wasn't going to work, and now you're saying it's just. So again, I just got to a point where it's just, you're just talking rubbish now, and I'm just going to, what I want to do, I'm going to do it. So when so at sixth form, sixth form was, it was a bit tough, but again, I had my performing. I did music A level, but music A level was like my grade 8 theory on steroids. It was predominantly theory and composition based. It wasn't a lot of performing, which I like doing. So it was. It was hard. It was, but again, because I also was alongside my music, I also give talks at universities and colleges, and I always say, just because you don't get the results you want, don't worry about it, because I got a U in music A level, and I'm doing music as a career, so don't worry. Don't let people's opinions of you become your reality. Just keep doing it, keep going, and then so I got to sort of the end of sixth form. I wanted to go off to university, but I didn't have enough UCAS points, so I decided to do essentially a gap year. And sort of people talk about gap year. They go to Thailand, they go to all these quite exotic places. I moved to Braintree in Essex to do my gap year, because so a bit edgy, but it's just to top up my UCAS points. So I went to Colchester. Well, it was part of Colchester Institute, but it was the course I was doing was at the Braintree campus. So I did creative musicianship. So I did a year there just to boost my UCAS points and just to kind of get the right amount of qualification so I could go off to university. And then that year, moving away from home, because I got to 18, I was like, I've had enough of Felixstowe. I see the same people I want to just see what's out there. I want to spread my wings and just, because I just want a fresh kind of start and meet new people. But again, you're doing something different. Like, oh, well, the grass isn't always green on the other side. And I'm like, it was greener. It was flourishing. It was, could not have, like, it could not have got more, be more greener. So, yeah, I did a year at Braintree College. And by that, I didn't just improve as a musician, but I was going to London every weekend because I played with the National Youth Jazz Orchestra Academy big band. And then I was in a room with such talented musicians who weren't even in high school, who were like, this kid next to me just busted out this solo on his sax, and he was 10. And I was just like, sat there like, what? And I'm 19 at the time. I'm just like, oh my God, it was just, but it's that kind of, I would rather be the dumbest person in the room than the smartest person, because all I could do is learn. I learned so much, and it was just surrounding myself with people who were just 10 times better than me. But I learned so much, and I learned sort of just to do things on my own, that not to rely on mum and dad so much. And then, yeah, so I did a year at college there, got enough UCAS points, and it was really good. And that's when I decided, that's when I started, because my background's in jazz mainly when I throughout high school, but then when I went to college, I started doing a lot of rock music. So I started playing along to like Thin Lizzy, Pink Floyd. So I started exploring different genres of music. And this is how I discovered house music as well, because I was busking. I used to busk in Braintree Town Centre, and I had this girl come up to saying, oh, my boyfriend, he makes house music and he's looking for a sax player to be on a couple of his tracks. Would you want to be on them? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to do that. Yeah, sure. And just because I had a great uncle who used to play saxophone as well. And he said, just play everything, Joe. Don't just do jazz. Play every style of music. If you're getting the chance to perform, whether you like that music or not, just do it. Just do it. And then, so I was just, that's when I started to explore different genres of music at my time in college. And then I went to apply for university, got into Newcastle University and studied contemporary and popular music. And then that's when I started sort of going into the sort of gigging world, where I started getting paid as well, really. But university was because I'd never really been up north. I'd passed Newcastle. If me and my mum and dad would go up to Scotland, we'd usually stop at the IKEA just outside on the way back or on the way. But I'd never been to Newcastle, but we went up there, and it was just a real bit like, because they're just so friendly up there. Like, compared, I'm not saying
very open.
Down south.
No. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember when we first went out to Newcastle for it was a bit of a night out, and I obviously coming up there from the south, everyone can tell you're from London. As soon as I spoke, everyone was like, "Oh, you're from London. You're from London." I'm like, "Yeah," but they were very much like you're saying, open arms. Like, "Oh, come here, do this. Like, we got coming. Like, come." People now, you're now making friends in bars. Like, you've only been there we was only there for 2 days, but before we left, it's like we knew most of the people there because everyone was so welcoming. So now I know exactly what you're talking about in that sense.
Yeah, it was just so friendly, and it was great. And that's when I sort of got my sort of experience in like getting paid to do gigs. So sort of, because while I was in university, I was a bit like just a sponge, really. I just wanted to kind of play everything. So even when I was at university, I learned all different styles of music. So I learned salsa music, I learned sort of experimental music where it was quite avant-garde, but we had a lecture where the guy was like, well, say if I got up off this chair and I fell over, I could technically I've made music, even though you're like, what? But again, it was just like, you know what, I'm just going to take it all in. If I don't use it again, fair enough. If I use it again, sweet, happy days. I just thought I'm just going to take it all in and just perform as much as I can. So I played with the university jazz band, played little quartets in like little restaurants, getting paid. At the time, when you're getting paid like 30, 40 quid when you're a student, you're like, oh, this is great. I'm getting paid.
Amazing. Yeah.
But now I would be like, well, that's my fuel covered. Let's talk about
and that's it.
So but at the time it was just all good experience, and then that's when I discovered sort of nightclubs where, because the first time I saw a sax player wasn't in Newcastle, but when I went to, traveling around Europe, went to Barcelona and I saw a saxophone player in a nightclub, and I thought, oh, that's so, because I'd just kind of seen it on TV a bit, but I'd never actually seen it like
real
in
life.
person. And I was just there, and I was like, wow, I can do that as well. Bloody hell! So yeah, literally went back and and I had a friend who was a DJ, and one the night said, come along, bring your little microphone, just plug it into my decks, come and have a jam. And then that's how I found the sort of sax DJ concept. So going through university, just kind of like performing as much as I can, and it's funny really, because like I get asked to come back to my university to talk and stuff, but again, going back to like not letting results or people's opinions sort of affect your journey really. I got one of the lowest performance marks in my year yet, and I still get people coming saying, oh, you should have got your end of year performance remark, that was all they gave you that. And I'm just like, it got to a point where I'm just like, well, I'm leaving with a degree. It's more than what anyone ever thought of me. And I just thought, you know what? It's their opinion. I'm not going to... There was like... Because with my university, you could either do like a dissertation, end-of-year performance, a project, or composition. So I chose to do like a performance, like end-of-year 45-minute performance. And probably about 40, 50 people came. And I thought, well... Okay, 50 people came and watched me. Out of those 50 people, 4 didn't like it. Well, here's what that's any sort of performance or art. You're not going to please everyone, really. And I just thought, you know what, that's fine. It's just this, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go. But they still get me back. Like when I won my award last year, they put me on their Instagram page saying it's great to see one of our alumni winning in his chosen specialist subject. So it's interesting really as well. And I also get asked to go back and talk to business students, even though I've never done a GCSE in business studies. I was told I was not the right fit to do business studies, and I'm up for Business Owner and Entrepreneur of the Year at the Made in Manchester Awards this Thursday of tomorrow. Well, I'm up for that as well. So, and it's like I never even did a degree in business studies, so it's just by following. Yeah,
it kind of shows, like similar to what you're saying about when you've got people that try to put labels on you. If you believe what they're saying, then obviously take it. But if you don't believe, then you got to prove them wrong. And it's the same. Like, you know, school for myself. Like I don't go back to my school, but if I did, there will be one teacher, which I'm sure he's not there anymore, but he just said the same line, similar to what they say to you about like, oh, you're gonna end up in McDonald's and blah blah blah. And I remember at the time, like when I was in school, I used to be like, I'm not gonna go far. Well, I didn't know at the time, but I'm always have been, but I'm dyslexic. So when I was in school, that made schooling even more difficult. Not knowing I was dyslexic, I used to be like, why do I struggle with this and why do I struggle with that? And everyone else can do it, so I must be. So when they're saying you're gonna work in McDonald's, I used to be like, well, they're probably right. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't. There's a lot that other people can do that I can't do. But when I look at things now. And obviously there was a point I was like, nah, man, I'm not going to work in McDonald's. I love music, so I'm going to do something in music. Because that's where I kind of come alive. So yeah, no, it's always good to like that. They say, once again, it sounds cliche, but chase your dreams. If it's something that you want to do, crack on and do it, and don't listen to the naysayers.
Absolutely. That's what I say to people when I'm talking to kids who want to do music as a career. Just go for it, even if you. And sometimes I was very fortunate. My parents were very supportive, like because my dad they made me stick at it. So I think it would have been a bit weird if they said to me, well, no, don't do it. I mean, like, well, what was the point? And you telling me to. So they were always very supportive, and like at the time they were like, we don't know what Joe's going to do with his life, but at the time he wants to try and do music. Fair enough. And again, my granddad was very supportive as well. He was just like, well, if there's something you want to do, then go for it. Just you get whatever you put in is what you get back. He always used to say to me. 100%. So he said, if you want to go for it, you go for it. And it's funny as well. Like my high school again didn't really have high expectations for me, but I'm on their alumni wall now. I only found this out like end of last year. Someone said to me, I don't know, someone I knew was in the school or visiting, and he said, oh, I saw your picture on the wall, Joe. You're up on the alumni. You're like, this is what our alumni do. And I thought, it's just ironic, really. Like I could just go back and be like, well, they didn't really think I was going to amount to much. Now again, I think it's completely different teachers there now. Yeah. Again, it's you've got to put it into more context, really. But it's just funny. But I just say to people, you just do what makes you happy. Just do what
100%.
you enjoy. And I think I'm very, very lucky. And I think when COVID happened, I think I took it a bit for granted. It made me realise that I was probably taking it a little bit for granted what I was doing. But again, I'm very grateful because with this job, it's very up and down. Some days you're going to have some days it's going to be like, oh, but again, it's like, well, I'm doing something I love. I'm sat in my home on a Wednesday when people are going to their jobs, and it's like I've got the very fortunate I can just stay at home, do what I want, or I can go
focus on your freedom more. Yeah,
exactly. So again, I'm very lucky and I'm very grateful I can do this as well. So, but again, that's why I want to help people, because people say, oh, that's cool, so cool what you're doing. Oh, and I said, yeah, no, again, but I'm always happy to help people as well, and if they need, and that's why I go into schools and high schools and colleges, universities, and talk about my journey, because again, I want to help people do that as well. Yeah.
No, bruv. I love that, man, and it's such a good way of being, because obviously you can see how it can not affect, but if there's anyone that's going through a similar experience to you, which I know a lot of people relate in terms of when you was in school and people didn't believe in you as much, if you listened to those voices, Joe, you wouldn't be where you are today. So it's good that you're going into those schools, telling those stories to some of the younger people that might be experiencing something different. Like, I really want to chase this, but, this teacher tells me this, or this person tells me that I'm never going to make it. So maybe I should just listen to them and just crack on and go and get back a job. But it's like, no. Like, do what you want to do. It might be a different path. It might take a bit longer than someone else, but keep pushing. If it's something that you want to do, keep going for it. So yeah, man, that is really good, which I think brings me really nicely onto my next point about you helping people. So one of the main reasons that I wanted to bring you on today, Joe, was to talk about something I see you doing. Obviously, you're a performer. Obviously, like, you work with a lot of DJs, you do weddings, you do bars, you do lots of stuff with your saxophonist. But then I saw that you've got this event called the Creative Meetup, which kind of shows more about that you want to help people. So just first of all, talk to me about the Creative Meetup. How did it start? What is it that has influenced you to start like this type of event?
So the Creative Meetup came about. So I've got a guy named David Intantu who helps me with my social media. He goes by Interview Creative, really talented guy, and he's helped me a lot with my social media. He does all the filming, editing, and we were sort of sat down, sort of talking, he said maybe put on an event to try and, again, it was trying to help people bring me to my socials and how can I raise my sort of profile at the time. And he said, oh, have you got any original music? Do you want to do maybe an album launch or single launch somewhere? And I was like, well, I've not written original music since university. I'm better in groups than I am writing music on my own. So again, my heart's really not in it at the moment when it comes to writing original music. I'm just happy performing other people's work and, again, working in the wedding industry and corporate industry. So I was like, so just sort of thinking back, and then there were certain moments where I felt it. I didn't realise it helped me start the Creative Meetup. But again, it's sort of, you look back and think, oh well, seeds were planted to get me to where the Creative Meetup began, really. So again, I would go to sometimes networking events where it was very informal. You have a name tag. It was very much like, well, what do you do? Oh, well, you don't have any sort of, again, you could tell it was like, you don't offer any value to them. So they're like, well, I'm not going to speak to you. It didn't really feel very welcoming. So I'd go to these events, and then I went to the TWIA Awards, and again, they say, obviously in the thing they say, well, if you don't win, it's a good way to network. But there were some people there, got on really well, spoke to. Again, there were people I was seeing that I don't get to see in a social environment. It's usually a working environment. So again, but then there were some people there I was just a bit like, it's very cliquey, and I hate cliques.
Same.
I hate them. I really hate them. And I was like, it just doesn't get that. I don't get a good vibe off here. And I've been to other sort of wedding or music industry events where I've literally walked in, don't get a good vibe. I order a drink at the bar, drink it, and I leave. I've literally not been there 10 minutes. I'm out of it. This is just not my vibe. I don't feel very welcome. So again, those kind of moments sort of led up to it, even though I wasn't planning on it. And then I went to an event called DM, which was run by a guy named Reese Evans, goes by the name EV Pro as well. And his event was for creators, and it was the first time I've been to an event where, for sort of people in my industry, you just felt so welcome. It was such a good vibe. The speakers they had were really good. It was just really nice good vibe, very welcoming vibes. Everyone I spoke to, they were like, even if you didn't offer anything to them of professional value, it was just nice to talk. And to be honest, I go to a lot of network. I'm going to a networking event tonight in Manchester, and I'm just going to go for the crack. Really, I'm just going for. I don't care if I get anything work-wise out of it, or even if I just start. I'm just going to go and just have a good time and just chat to people, and whether it helps me or not, it's So, and then I went to Reese's event, and I thought, and it was that moment I was like, you know what, I'm going to do my own network event. If you can't, again, I feel because I'm trying to get my words out here. When I was, you get a lot, sorry. I'm starting to get a lot of people message me now asking sort of for help. How do you do this? How do you do that? And I'm always happy to help and always help them, because when I started out, I went to a lot of people who were doing what I wanted to do, playing sax. And so I felt, well, if I asked for help when I was starting out, I feel it's my duty now to kind of help people, because I'd asked help. So I feel I'm always, because I've met musicians who, again, I've asked for help, but if people ask them for help, they don't want, and it's just, and I hate that. And I thought, no,
that's not good.
So I'm like, I've asked for help, so it's only fair that I give help, and I'm happy to. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do something similar to Reese's event, and I'm going to call it the Creative Meetup. So we just kind of put pen to paper and then just brought it to life, really. So we did an event in my hometown in Felixstowe, which was more like a trial sort of run. So I had 3 speakers. I had my old college tutor, Richard, come and speak. I had one of my old school friends who's a creative consultant, that's her job. She came and spoke. And then I had my friend Sam Phillips, who goes by the name Dare to Dip. The Dare to Dip came from, he went in the North Sea for 365 days of the year, because he's just gone, I'd say he's been 4 years sober now, and he helps people who want to get sober, who maybe have had a drug problem. So he does a lot of like motivational speaking. So I got him to come and tell his story as well. So we had our first event, and it was mainly sort of my mum and dad came, friends and family came. But again, it was just okay, we've got something here. It was good. We had a good turnout of people. And then we had our like official first one in Leeds. Again, it wasn't as squeaky clean or as slick as how we have it now. It was just more, we put a paid ad on Instagram saying, we're hosting a creative networking event here in Leeds, like come along. And we had about 10 people come. We had the same guest speakers, and it was good. It was the venue we were going to have it, because there was 3 floors, but they decided to put like a new unit on the middle floor where we were going to have it, so there wasn't much space, but it was one of the hottest days of the year. So we went upstairs, and it was a good layout, but it was just so hot. We had to have a break in between. So, but again, it was good. I was still getting used to. I'm not as nervous when I put on these events now, but because I had a girl come to our event, she said, cause she came to that first event, and now she came to our last one. She said, you're much better at speaking in person, I've noticed, Joe. You're not as nervous. I'm like, because when you do these events, you are just. So, I mean, I still get nervous, but it's
not as nervous.
Not as nervous. No. Mm-hmm. So it was. It was. So we did the first one in Leeds. That was good, and then we did one in Manchester, but that was a lot more polished. So I got my mate Mark J from Maximum Music to come and DJ. Also, Maximum Music are now sponsors of our event now, so they come and got him to DJ. We had 3 guest speakers again. But this time it was just a bit more polished. We'd made an Eventbrite page, so I could see who's coming.
A bit more clear, a bit more structured.
Yeah, there was more structure to it. And then last year, we just kind of kept that format, but we did a panel this time. And it was January 2024. We hosted it in Leeds, but went to a different venue. And we sold 80 tickets. I was like, I was looking at it going up. I was like, gee, it was just completely caught me off guard. I thought, well, if we get 50, I'll be buzzing. Like even just 20, like up to get 20 minimum, sweet. If we get 50, fantastic. Literally looked at the Eventbrite, you've sold 80 tickets. We had probably about 70 people come through the door. I was like, bloody hell. And I'm hosting this panel, obviously asking the questions, listening to people talking, but at the same time, I'm sort of looking at the crowd like, fucking hell, and it's like, crazy. Everyone comes to an event I've made, I'm like, jeez, and you're trying to keep it together, but it's like, at the same time, you're listening to the panel talk, but at the same time, you're looking at the crowd like thinking, There's so many people here. It's oh man. It's like so yeah. It's just a little pinch me moment. It's like wow. And then so we started having those on a bit more regular basis. But this year now, a lot of the emphasis for me this year is going to be on the Creative Meetup. Obviously, still gigging, still. But what I'm doing now is I'm not doing as many gigs now. So I've put my prices up the end of last year because I want to make sure everything is getting the right amount of attention. So the gigging side, I'm not doing too many gigs where it affects the Creative Meetup, but the Creative Meetup's not affecting my gigging as well. So I feel it's a very much this year. This 2026 is the word I'm using this year is kind of balance, making sure everything kind of singing from the same hymn sheet and. Yeah, so making sure so the gigs don't get affected. I'm still able to give that value that my clients expect from me, but also I can still give that same quality as well to the Creative Meetup. So everything is kind of all, but with the goal this year, we're having an event once a month now. You've just got to really keep on top. So again, we've announced Liverpool. Tickets go on sale this Friday for our event in Liverpool on the 12th of March. And then, so this week we're in Newcastle collaborating with another events company. And then on the 11th of February, we've got an event in Manchester as well. We've got a panel talking about social media, marketing, personal branding. So again, it's just making sure you're on top because we want to keep on top of everything and as well and have it on a much regular basis now so we can just build the brand, get as many people coming through the door because I was talking to David at the start of this year. We sort of have our annual sort of plan for this year, what we want to do with I Am Joe Reeve and then what we want to do with the Creative Meetup. And my motto, I've spoken about this when I'm giving talks, like if I'm going to do something this year, if I'm going to go up a certain level, if it doesn't scare the absolute crap out of me or wants to make me throw up, I don't pursue it. And I know that sounds psychotic.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's when you're staying out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
and that's where success is. Like if you're comfortable or you do something and say, "Oh yeah," and it was easy, and you never learned anything. There was there's no leveling up. But if you put yourself in uncomfortable positions, that's where success is always, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, so I think
absolutely, absolutely. Because I say to people like, "Oh, what if it doesn't work out?" I'm like, "Well, if it doesn't work out, I've either learned from it, or I can look back and be like, well, I'm not going to look because I don't want to live with any regret. I want to be like, well, I gave it a go. It didn't. It's not if." Because I don't want to be like, oh, what if I should have done this, could have, should have. At least I'm like, well, at least I gave it a go and I know it didn't work out. But then I'm not going to look back and I feel like, oh, I wish I'd done that.
Yeah,
so
100%.
So that's the way. So again, it's just like when I was having my meeting with David and we're going through the goals, we had like 4 goals for this year, but then they kind of, those 4 goals, they just kind of expand. So it's, again, it might not be goals for this year, but we're looking into the future and looking at the possibility. And I was sort of looking at him like, oh, shit, like, oh, really good. But at the same time, you're like, shit, that's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, there's a lot to do to get there. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it.
Yeah, and I went to the toilet and I was kind of, nearly did want to throw up a little bit. I was like, oh my God. But again, it's like, it's a good thing. And it's just kind of, it'll keep me busy for the year. So I'm not like thinking, oh, what do I need to do? I don't know what I need to do. So yeah, but no, the Creative Meetup this year the goal is to have something at least once a month. Each event's going to have a certain theme. So obviously our next event's going to be talking all about social media, marketing, branding. The one in Liverpool, I'm going to get my mate Sam to come and talk about finance, helping creators who are maybe starting out, who understand a bit better on what they need to do. Because the amount of, not just creators, but musicians I speak to as well, who just get done by HMRC because of not filed this. So again, it's just giving. I want to use the Creative Meetup as an education platform as well, just to give. So I want people to be able to be like, oh, I come to this event, I learned this, I didn't know this. Again, just leave them with something they were like, oh, I didn't know that. That's actually really informative. So offering them as much value as I can do and just help. Again, just going back to just helping people build a sense of belonging where people feel like they can build relationships, meet new people, learn new things. Because our motto is connect, create, inspire. And that's our motto really. We want to just help people along the way. And alongside the Creative Meetup, I've now set up a third business called The Community. So it's a bit more, it's like a smaller version of the Creative Meetup. So what it is like we meet up every 2 weeks. So if you come to our events, but you like, you know what, I want to do something more than once a month. So we kind of either meet up online or offline, or in person every 2 weeks, depending where people are and where their location is, and then sort of come chew the fat, talk about our problems or anything that's good going on, or just want to celebrate a win, really. So just chew the fat, really. That's what we do. And then they'll get free entry to all the Creative Meetup events. So again, it's like a subscription. So if you're part of the community, you'll get free entry to all the Creative Meetup events. And then you'll get access to maybe workshops, masterclasses, either online or in person. So I might get someone who's given a talk at the Creative Meetup to do like a little more, a bit more in detail workshop of what they specialize in. So you get access to that. And then once a month, we'll do like a social or well-being event where we just kind of meet up for drinks or even do like, I don't know, Pilates classes, something to do just to feel like they can have a bit of a social life, because in our industry, we don't really, because we're doing all the social events ourselves.
We don't get to have that.
We don't get time to do it ourselves. So again, it's just giving them, again, and sort of our motto for that is just, again, bringing everyone together. And then again, no clicks. When one of us win, we all win. Like, just help each other.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Joe, I'm not gonna lie, I love it, because like a lot of the stuff that you're saying, I can fully relate to. So when you mentioned about scaling back on your gig so you can provide a better offering to some of the people that are joining you on your journey, that's quite similar to kind of what I'm doing, because obviously podcast, the show that we're putting on, it takes up a lot of time, but then at the same time, I don't want to less to what I'm doing to my clients. So I offer a premium, and that way I'm able to still offer the great service to my clients, but then also give back to the community. And this is another reason why I wanted to bring you on, because I know that you do most of, like, Newcastle, Liverpool. You're more up north while I'm more down south, and I really wanted to sort of bring you on to sort of talk about it. And if there's anyone that's listening to this pod, because the things that I'm doing that are down south, I do want to venture up north, but it's great to hear other stuff that's going on around north. So if you're listening to this podcast and you love the learning and stuff that we share here, go into one of Joe's events, especially the Creative Meetup, is a great way for you to then have real connection. I believe, like, podcasting and these Zooms and all this stuff. No, it's not Zoom. We don't use Zoom right here. But anyway, these kind of talks and these things that we do are great for the community, they're great for the industry. But I think if you really want to take it to the next level, it's the real-time meetups. The real-time meetups, I feel that's when a lot of the magic happens. You can build your community stronger. You can actually get to meet people, get a better understanding of what it is they're doing. You can ask more of your questions, or something that you might want to bring to someone. You can come to one of the meetups, bring it to the panel, bring it to yourself, bring it to the creatives in the room, that they can definitely help you. So if you are up in the north, make sure you go and check out. I'll put the link in the description for the meetup, the Creative Meetup run by Joe and his team, and some of the stuff that they're doing does sound really interesting, and I love that, because it's quite similar to what we are doing down here. We're trying to bring something so people can come together, learn, level up, because like you said, in this creative space, a lot of people learn the hard way, especially when it comes to things like HMRC, when it comes to things like business, marketing. You're either wasting a lot of time, you're wasting a lot of money. There's a lot of things that can happen, but if there's an educational place, or a place where you can get tips and tricks or some advice, that can definitely help, which in my opinion helps everyone. Similar to like what you were saying about when one wins, we all win. That's kind of my mindset. Sadly, that's not everyone's mindset, which I'm sure you've witnessed.
Unfortunately not. No, unfortunately not. No, you do meet people like that. But again, it's just the bigger my platform grows, the more I kind of get out there. Like, I want to help people. I just want to help. Like, we're not all in this trying, because university was very much, because when I was going from university into the sort of big wide world, I did think, everyone's just out for themselves, really, because there were people I went to university with, or who were at my university, again, would have sold their own grandmother to try and get a gig. Like, it was just like, it just...
But it happens. It happens. That mindset is out there a lot. I'm trying to break that as much as possible, because
same as well. Yeah, I'm trying to do the same.
No one grows. Like, as a whole, when you have that sort of mindset, like, the whole thing doesn't grow, which is a loss for everyone. But
exactly. There's plenty of work. There's plenty of work.
I say this, but people don't believe it. That's the problem. They believe that it's not, and it's sad that obviously we're trying our best to do the changes with the things that we're doing. I don't know why that thing comes up. Can you see that little thumbs up that you've got?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I don't know why that comes up. Someone else could do it. I remember sometimes people come on my pod and they can do it, and some people can't. I think, do you know what? No, you're on your Mac, innit? You're on a Mac laptop.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I think the newer Mac laptops, they do that sort of thing. I remember when
Oh, do they? Oh,
one time I was on there with Sweet Vibe. Sweet Vibe done this thing, was going whoop whoop whoop, and some fireworks came, and then Ewan one time he done something, some rain coming. I was like, how come you lot are doing that? But I can't do it because I'm using a webcam, so it changes that. But anyway, that's a bit off topic. Going back to what we was talking about, is that we have some people that have that mindset, and that's the main thing that a lot of people hear me talk about is mindset, because that's what it's all about. Going back to what you were saying about being uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is where success lies. And
absolutely.
If you really want to win, it doesn't matter where you are, who you are, what you're trying to do. If you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, 100%. If you can do a year of uncomfortability, if you look, and you can look at it in a stat, you say the last 5 years you've done this, but year 6 you just done uncomfortable, you will start to see that in any of your stats and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Being uncomfortable is powerful. It's powerful. It's definitely powerful.
One thing I always say to when I'm giving my talks as well, because we live in a world now where we can just get everything at our fingertips. Like we want instant gratification.
Yeah.
But I say to young musicians, I say, make peace that you're going to be in this for the long run. Like make peace that things are going to take a bit longer. If they happen straight away because you're putting yourself out there,
great.
Because people say, oh, well, you've got to work smart, not hard. I'm like, you can only work smart if you're working hard. Because you're working hard, you're putting yourself in those positions. Then those opportunities where you can work smart are coming, because you've been working hard. So don't underestimate what you can do in a few decades. Like it's really, because I think because I think, like they say, comparison is the thief of joy. And you see and it's cool. But I think because I'm just so busy with what I'm doing with because the Creative Meetup takes up so much time, I'm not really seeing what else is going on. Like I see some bits and I'm like, yeah, that's really cool, fantastic. But at the same time, I'm just kind of in my own little kind of, obviously, again, get messages, can you help me, blah, 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 all that kind of, but I'm kind of just like, okay, I've got to do this. I'll let you do it, going through my to-do list, kind of, okay, I need to do this, and this. I need to see, because I'm looking, again, because I think when you're in your 20s, it's more, just try everything, do everything. But now I'm kind of in my 30s, everything kind of has a bit of a more, we've got to do it with purpose now. So when we post, it's got to be purpose. Like consistency is good, but you've got to have purpose. So like when I go to networking events, or if I go to certain events, it's got to be with purpose. So you've got to look at, like, so the one I'm going to tonight is more for business startups or entrepreneurs, and kind of thought, well, okay, that sounds like my thing really. I think that could benefit from that. I'll just see. So everything's just with purpose now. So even when I'm looking at, because the Creative Meetup, we could take it abroad, we could take it around Europe, take it around the world, and that. So if I'm going to go to these other countries, I need to look at, okay, what's going on? Because I use LinkedIn as well. So again, that's a good way to kind of find people. So everything's just with purpose now. So I feel in my 30s now, I'm kind of, the 20s was kind of more the trial and error experimenting. 30s is now kind of, I'm laying the groundwork now, and just really kind of, so when I get to my 40s, I've got a bit more of a strong, not that I don't have a strong, but it's a bit more stronghold. I've kind of got this, I can understand this. But again, I'm still learning. Because when I turned 30, I was like, yeah, I know everything now. Yeah, I'm like, not that I know nothing, but it's just like, no, I'm still learning. You're never going to stop learning. You're never going to stop learning. You have a better idea of things, but like, it's interesting because when I go into weddings, people say you're nervous, and I'm like, I don't get nervous about performing. I get nervous about all the other things that could go. Like they say, knowledge is a curse, really, because I kind of feel jealous of that young kid who started out in the wedding industry, who didn't even know what a sound limiter was, didn't even know what wedding managers were like, or just kind of, you just kind of go in ignorance is bliss, really. You're like, yeah, I'm just happy to be performing, and now you're like, as this venue got a sound limiter, what the guests going to be like? It's just kind of like watching the drunk uncle get a bit too close. It's just like, I know you kind of just, you're literally like, you're playing, but you've got all these. So again, it's like I probably worry a bit, not that it don't affect me, but again, I know everything that can kind of go wrong in an event. Because I posted something on TikTok where it was like this memes say, so when you turn up to a wedding, it's got I think it's like from a film where Will Ferrell, he keeps saying the F word over and over again. He's like, oh, fuck, and it's like, well, what I've got on the side is like, you turn up to a wedding, the venue has a sound limit, the groom's gone missing, there's a fight broken out, live music has to be done by 9 p.m. and it's like, these are all scenarios I've been through, and it's just, so again, it's like, even though I've been doing this a long time and I've got a lot of experience, I do know what could possibly go wrong as well. It's but again, you never stop learning. That's the one thing. No matter how far you get and how far you are, you always want to learn. You always keep learning and understanding things better as well.
Yeah, 100%. Love that, man. Love that. So, guys, if you are based and you heard one of your locations in this quick conversation, make sure you head into the link in the description. I've put all the necessary links there so you can go and find out when the next Creative Meetup is, and you can get yourself down to one of their meetups, because it's going to benefit you in some way, for sure. All right, Mr. Joe Reeve, I wanted to ask you a question, because obviously this is a DJ podcast and you're a saxophonist, and every saxophonist who comes on here, you see more DJs than DJs see DJs. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and you work with DJs, so you've worked with all different types of DJs. So, what I want to quickly get from you is name me a few positive experiences that you've, when working with DJs, especially in weddings or even at bars and clubs, because I know you've done a lot of that as well in Newcastle. And then also mention three positive things, or a couple of positive things that you thought that was good when working with a DJ, things that you've seen, and things that you've seen that you've worked with a DJ and you thought, you know what, that's not the best way to work, in your own opinion as a saxophonist. Give us some positives and some negatives from working with DJs.
So positives working with DJs. So obviously DJs who are happy to work with a saxophone player, because I usually, when people book me, if they're going to book me and it's not with a DJ I know, I would just say, just make sure they're happy to work with a sax player. So obviously if I can plug in, make sure that I always ask, but if it's someone I've not worked with, I always say, is it okay if I can plug into your decks and then have so ones who can, just easy to work with. So ones, because I've heard stories of where DJs have charged sax players like 50 quid just to plug into their decks.
You're lying. What did you say?
Like, it just literally, I've heard stories of like where sax players have they've turned up to a gig and the DJ's like, can you plug in? If you want to plug in, it's going to be 50 quid to plug in. I'm just like, I've never had that, but if a DJ said that to me, I'd just tell him to stick it where the sun don't shine.
I said, give me £50 tax so you can use one of my channels. That's crazy.
I know, and I'm just like, but again, I've never experienced that, and like 99% of the time, it's usually fine. But I'm not a DJ, so I can't give a critical analysis. But I feel there's a DJ and there's a disco, like, because I've worked with some. Again, usually it's fine, but again, these discos, they're literally just click and dragging, and I'm like, I could do that. And it's like, what? And I'm like,
where's the skill? What's
where's the skill in this? And where's like not reading the room? Because with my sort of selling point to couples and clients, I say, look, I don't really come with a set list. I just tend to just kind of, so like when I work with Darryl from Sweet Vibe Events, I will just work around him, because I know Darryl will just read the room. He's so good, like his mixing's great, and it's always a good part, and I can just work around him and just kind of whatever he's doing. Unless I will sometimes get requests, but I always say let the DJ know you would like me to play this song, so they know. But I'll just say to the DJ, you just stick that song wherever you feel it's appropriate, because I've done some weddings where the first set, not many people are dancing, and they'll stick on Swedish House Mafia, Don't You Worry, Child, and it's like, it's not even a thought, and I'm like, oh God,
this is not the time.
No, it's just like, again, it's just so a positive thing is a DJ who can read the room, read the vibe, because people, but like I always say, I don't just do house or dance music. I can do like Motown, R&B. Like a wedding I did on New Year's Day, they were into their Afrobeat, R&B. I hardly played any dance, house music.
Any house, yeah.
In the evening, which is fine. It was full dance floor. People were dancing, and again, because I used to do a lot of Afrobeat nights in nightclubs and bars and that anyway, so I can play along to that. Because I think people forget how diverse a saxophone is and how many genres, because like you listen to 80s pop music, I think every 80s pop song had a sax solo in it. So I think people,
sorry to cut you there, Joe. Do you know what? It's interesting you say that. I've met some saxophonist players. That's not what they say. I've met saxophonist players that will say to me, "Oh, like when are you playing the house set?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe later on." And they'll be like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna wait for that." And I'm like, "Why? Play now. Like,
Yeah. This is,
what's the
yeah,
problem?" So
I
the
know.
same way we've got positives and negatives about DJs, that I can say,
Yeah.
with saxophonist players, I done one last year, and for me, it was the worst DJ sax combo that I. My thing with what he was doing, he sent me a file with lots of tunes on there, but he edited them himself, which fine, you know, he took the sax
Yeah.
out. He had all these different edits, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was saying to him, this is going to be annoying for me because I'm about to drag 70, 80 tracks onto my laptop, which I'm not going to
Yeah.
play because they're just for you. These tunes are not like they're, and
Yeah.
I've got all of these tunes that you're
Yeah.
playing, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do kind of help him along. It was the worst DJ sax experience I have ever witnessed, bro. He cleared the floor, like he cleared the floor. He went out there and he was playing his stuff, and I was saying to him, mate, it's not the time for this. But it was like, but you know, I've came to do my thing. I was like, you know what? All right, fine, because once again, I'm a team player, right? So then
Yeah.
I said, okay, cool. You know, let's let him do his thing. So I'm playing some of his songs. I don't think it's the right time, but you know, he's gone out there. He's doing his thing. We went from a full floor, and the floor was just dying and dying and dying and dying, and he's carrying on playing, and I'm like, bro, this ain't working. So then I said to
No.
him, I called him back. I said, look, like, I'm gonna switch it up for about 10, 15 minutes because I need to get these people back in the room. I can't have it
Yeah.
in the room.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, fine. So then I said to him, because he's like, he doesn't want to do the R&B, doesn't want to do the hip hop and R&B. So I said, look, just give me 10 minutes, let me get them back in the room. Hip hop R&B,
Yeah.
boom, got the room back full again.
Yeah.
And then he comes to me, taps me on the shoulder, he's like, oh yeah, can I go back on? I was like, all right, cool. But even in my head, I'm like, we're about to clear the room again, like 100%.
Oh,
But anyway, you've been paid. I'm a team player. Whack, let's go back through your edited tracks. Edited tracks are playing. Cleared the floor again. Now I'm like, okay, now for me, this is now damaging my brand. So then I called over the bride and I said, look, this is what's going on. She's already heard, because she's been, obviously, when everyone's outside, they're obviously outside talking, and I didn't know what the conversations were. But from what the bride's telling me, she's like, people are laughing at the saxophonist outside. So I was like, if that's the case, it's now a shame. It's now embarrassing and shaming
yeah.
for the saxophonist. So
Yeah.
I said to her, like, what do you want to do? Because at the moment, if he wants to continue his set, I'm gonna have to leave it on some sort of auto mix, and I'm gonna, because I don't want to be behind the booth while it's like this. This is not what I'm doing. And then I said to her, what do you want to do? Do you want it to keep going, or because once again, it's your wedding?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I just want you to crack on. So I was like, okay, you need to call him over and let him know that. So he basically done about half the time he was supposed to do, and he left. And from that experience there, now made me say, the same way you would be like, I need to check who the DJ is, I need to check who the saxophonist is. Because
Yeah.
if they are not experienced, I'm going to say to
Yeah.
that saxophonist, can you have your own mix? Like, have something that you play so I can go and you can do you. Because if what you're doing is killing the floor, it
Yeah.
affects me. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It affects me, and I don't want to be part of that. So I just find that, like, even though we're going through some of the things that are positive and negative,
Yeah.
I've had that experience, and that, yeah, I've never experienced that, but that's when I was
Yeah.
like, it is not working, man. It's sad.
I know, and that's why I just say, look, I say to brides, look, I don't really come. I will just fit around your vibe, because they'll say, "Oh, we love the house stuff." I'm like, "That's great," but you got to think about your guests as well. What do they like as well? So, because we've done some where the DJs, he's like, "Oh, they want the house stuff," so you, and I said, "Look, you do your thing. If you want to play that, that's fine." But there were times when they're not dancing the house stuff, so he'll just bring in the Motown, which is fine. I love playing along to Motown as well. And then, yeah, people starting to get on the floor. But I don't, again, when I started, I did used to come in with my own mixes because the DJ quality at the time when I was starting out was just not very good. So I used to get my mix in the nightclubs to make me a mix. Like we did a house mix, a Motown mix, R&B mix, and then a mixture. But then it got to a point where I was just eventually the DJ I was working with, because a lot of DJs I was working with were going from nightclubs to weddings, so the quality was getting the mixing and reading the room was getting better. So I didn't have to bring a set list or pre-made mix again. Like I could just go along and just go with the vibe, and then I do everything by ear now. So because there'll be some DJs, well, some sax players, the one thing they always complain about with me is that some DJs might change the pitch of the tune, so it's in a different key. So I don't mind that, because I'll just learn it in a different key there and then on the spot. But that's just me. I know not many players can do that, and I know it is quite annoying. The only time I'd find it annoying is if I'm in a bit of a groove where I'm like, I can hear. So say for example, Rihanna's "We Found Love," you can hear the key, that synth piano coming in, like you're like, yeah, and oh great, cool, I know what that is, and then you realise, oh, that's not in the original key, so then I have to kind of bring it back a bit, and then like, okay, cool, I know what it is. So that's the only time I find it a little bit annoying, when you're in a bit of a groove and you're in the moment kind of thing, really. But that doesn't, again, I just do everything by ear. I just fit around your vibe, whatever you like, whether you like your R&B, I can play along to that. If you like your Motown, I can play along to that. Pop, ABBA, I'll play along to that as well, or even just your general generic pop stuff like Amy Winehouse, Valerie. I could play along to that, because I used to play those songs when I used to be in a band as well. So you just kind of take what you learn from your past experience and just put it into that. And again, as long as the dance floor's filled, I don't mind what I'm really playing along to, really. As long as there's a full dance floor, I'll work around that and just work to your day, whatever you like. I just want to kind of, because at the end, because I think so. Like some sax players, they kind of come in thinking, obviously they want to put on a show, but it's not about you; it's about the couple at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm there to cater to you, really. So, and I think people like it. And again, it's obviously I keep couples happy as well, but I want to keep other wedding suppliers happy as well, so people can be like, oh yeah, Joey's really easy to work with. I get on really well with him. I don't want any, again, like team player. I want to be a team player and work well with everyone. And but then I did do a gig at the end of the year last year. I said to the DJ, it wasn't for a wedding, it was for a private party. But I said to him, I don't really have a set list. Can you just play? He was like, oh no, I need a list from you, mate. I can't. I just pretend I'm not there. Just
crack on. Just crack on.
Yeah, just crack on. But he was like, oh no, I need a. So again, I'm just wasting time making him a list. I'm like, well, I don't know. It's not my job. This is your job. This is your job. I'm not meant to be, because I don't know if people go. Yeah.
He sounds like one of those guys. He sounds like the disco thing you was talking about earlier. He's like, like his brain just couldn't. His brain was like, I can't.
He was just. I might as well ask him what the meaning of life was or something. It was just.
Oh my god!
Yeah. I know. So again, that was the only time I had a DJ who didn't like the fact I just go along to whatever. But yeah, usually again, so yeah, positive things for DJs, again, who can read the room, easy to work with, happy, don't charge you 50 quid to plug into their mic channels. And then probably negatives, again, ones who again aren't really a DJ, they're just playing songs, just click and drag. Yeah, so that's
question about that, because once again we don't get to see much DJs. Do you see a lot of those DJs, Joe? You see the one that you're just talking about, like the disco type guy, the drag and drop. Do you see a lot, or like in your experience, like out of like 10 DJs, how many of them would you say would be that type?
I would probably say I see probably out of 10, probably maybe 3 or 4. It depends, because some venues have a resident DJ and a resident DJ, and it's like, sometimes it's fine, but again, I would just rather work with someone who can DJ. It's not a problem, but again, it's just sometimes their speakers are so old. They're blokes who've been doing it for years, and then but I would say if I had to say out of 10 weddings or gigs I do, I probably maybe 3 or 4 out of the
3 or 4 out of 10.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So we're looking at 30 to 40% ratio in terms of
but again with lowering my gigs each time now, so every gig now but I'm in a position where I'm being a little bit I don't want to be one of those musicians like, I only work with this DJ, I try and be a team player, and as long as they're fine, but I will always recommend people. So if I'm in the south, I'll recommend Dow Sweet Vibe events as well, so if they've not booked a DJ. So again, but if in up north, I'll work again, because then I'm going into that gig knowing, okay, I know they're on the gig, I've worked with them, sweet, happy days, I don't have to worry about anything as well. So it just takes away that kind of I wouldn't say unpredictability, but you know what you're going to get.
You know what you're going to get. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
And then
so,
that can put you at ease, and you know it's going to be, yep, I'm working with that person. It's
yeah,
going to be a good vibe. They know what they're doing. Yep, you're going to have a great night for the client, for myself. Like it's going to be an enjoyable thing for all rounders. So yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. Yeah, so but yeah, so I'd say those are sort of my positives and negatives for DJs. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. Because like I said, I don't get to see as much as you do. So when I ask these questions, it's good to hear, just to kind of see kind of what's going on currently in the market. Joe, one thing I want to quickly talk about as well is your content. You did mention you have someone who films and edits some of your content.
Yeah.
Because from what I can see, there's times when you do videos which I think are really high end, but I think it's really, really good. The editing sharp, like you got the microphone, you got the DJI. When you're doing that, is any of that you, or is it always your content creator or someone who's helping you with the social?
So a lot of it is the really high end stuff. It's all him. I just stand in front of them and try and look pretty. Really, it's all kind of him. It's all him really. He does the filming, editing. He'll write the scripts for me. So
wow.
He'll write the script. Yeah, again, he's like, it's more than just video he offers. Like, again, because people say, oh, how much he charging? They're like, oh, that's a lot. But I'm like, David, he does so much more than just filming and editing. It's just so much. He helps
like a full package. It sounds like a full package.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a sort of advisor, consultant. Like, because with doing this kind of content, you get emails from people saying, oh, do you want to advertise our brand and stuff? So I had one from like Protein Works, because we showed like a bit of my sort of fitness because again, it's just kind of building a bigger picture of me, sort of my personal brand, showing that. And like we had like Protein Works getting content saying, oh, can you promote our thing and we'll give you this discount, this and this, and like I sent David the email and I said to him, this is like a good deal, or should we come back with a counter offer? And he goes, leave it with me, I'll write something. And then so he'll do more than just filming, like he'll help me write things to certain brands if they want to offer deals. So again, he's also a musician as well. He's so talented as well. What he does. He's such a great guy, and I owe a lot to him in the last, because we've been working together now for about 3 years. He's been doing my stuff so I can't believe it's been that long now, but yeah, it's he does everything really. It's not just filming and editing, like, because it's just going back to when people sort of question you about your price. It's just what the value, and he gives so much value, and it's just more than what people just assume. He just doesn't just film and then just click a button and it's all edited. It's so much more involved. But yeah, so it's all like Dave. Yeah, he's just such a great bloke, and I owe a lot to him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say, man, some of those content pieces, I'm like, yeah, man, this is some sharp stuff. Like the editing, the moving text, like even like you're saying now, you're telling about the scripting, because like you can see it all. Like he is a gem. Like, because when I was looking at that, and I was, a part of me was like, is Joe doing this by himself? Has he got like tripod and he's done that and he's put it there and he's gonna, home and he's cutting the hole? Like, is he doing this? Because this is sharp stuff.
Yeah,
man.
no, he like people say to me like, "Oh, that's so cool. You're so talented." I'm like, "Oh no, guys, it's not me. I'll stop it." Like, no, but it's all David. David does it. There's some bits like my TikTok. I'm a bit more. I'll post stuff myself. I'll post stuff, but Instagram's a bit more, because I think they work a bit differently. So Instagram's a bit more squeaky clean, a bit more polished, a bit more. TikTok's a bit more not raw. Random, but it's just a bit more raw, because sometimes the raw content does quite well on TikTok more than the Instagram. So it's but yeah, it's all David really. I just stand in front of it and try and sound good and look good if the best I can really, and yeah, it's all him really. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, big him up, man, because he's got your stuff looking really, 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 really sharp, man. Big up him for sure. There's someone you mentioned that I wanted to quickly talk about, because I see him a lot online. We do chat, but I've never actually met him before. And this is Mark J, and he's the one that he's sponsoring the event. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, his company, Maximum Music, they sponsor the Creative Meetup. I work with Mark a lot in the wedding industry as well. So, I work with him. So we gig together quite a lot as well. He's doing my wedding. I'm getting married in October. He's DJing my wedding. His wife's doing the video for my wedding as well. So, nice. Mark's great. I work with him a lot, and he's a really, really top guy. And always a pleasure working with Mark. Again, one of those DJs can read a room. I don't have to, I can trust he'll do, like, whenever I'm on, I know what he'll be playing will suit the room and it will get people on the dance floor, and I just work around him as well. And just good team player. Like, we just work really well together.
Oh, so you mentioned that his missus does film.
Yes, Lana. Yeah, she does like wedding videography or commercial videography as well. Yeah.
So in terms of some of his content, because he's another one, his content looks sharp. He does some videos.
Yeah,
That
he
puts
uses
up. I'm like,
David.
whoa.
David uses it. That's how he started using. Well, how him and David met through me because was
Okay.
asking about my content. So now David does some filming for him as well. Again, just like help because people do always ask me like, and I always do recommend David as well. If I can help David get more work, then it's great because people say, "Oh, do you mind if I get?" I'm like, "Yeah, get in contact. Yeah, absolutely. I want to get him more work." And he doesn't just work for do work for me. He works for loads of other people. Like not just like again, I'm not gatekeeping. I always say like, "Yeah, absolutely. Get in contact with David. Absolutely." So yeah, so Mark uses David as well. Yeah.
Where's David based?
Leeds.
That's too far for me, boy. If Dave was down here, I'm like, Dave, you got a contract. You're sticking with me. No, he's really good. Like, and now you're saying he does some of Mark J stuff as well, because Mark J stuff looks sharp as well. So yeah, man, he's really good at what he does, and he's worth every penny. I don't know what he's charging you, but he's worth every penny. I can definitely.
Oh, he is. He's absolutely worth it. Absolutely, yeah.
All right, Joe. So I looked on your socials, and it looks like you won an award, and the award was the prestigious Awards 2025.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did that come about? First of all, congratulations, man. It's all
Thank you. Thank you.
But how did that come about, and what is that award about?
So basically, I got an email because I do get some emails come through. You get a lot of. I mean, I'm sure you get the same. Like you get a lot of junk emails, of people offering. Like, oh, I can do your website for this and that, and I remember getting this email. I got this email at the time, and I thought, at first I thought it was a scam. I thought because I do get the odd email saying you've won this, and this, and I thought, but I looked at it and I kind of was like, oh, okay. So I went on their website and I thought, okay, this looks promising.
It's looking legit.
Yeah, legit. And I looked on their socials, and then their Instagram had, I'd say, 15,000 followers and a few mutual people I knew who I follow them. So I thought, oh, all right then. And then so I gave them, I replied to their email, and they said, oh, all we need to do is just for you to write out a questionnaire, just like what you do, such and such. So our judging panel can look at your criteria and look at you and see if you're eligible to win it. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool. All right then. And then I got an email back saying, hi, Joe, we'd like to book in a call with you just to talk about you. And I thought, okay, this is because usually if I've not won something, usually they'll say, oh, unfortunately, Joe, you've not been successful this time. So I thought, well, okay, a phone call's looking a bit promising. And then, so I spoke to the guy on the phone who announces all the awards or who's in their like marketing department, and he said, yeah, we looked at your obviously your questionnaires and then your answers to the questionnaires. We looked at your website, your socials, got really good socials. We also looked at your Google business page, and we're really impressed with the reviews you got as well. We really like that, and we'd like to award you Saxophonist of the Year for the Prestige Awards 2025 for Manchester and the Northwest of England. I was like, oh, amazing, fantastic. So
nice.
Yeah, that was really cool. So to win that, and they said to me a lot of what helps you win that was your reviews. Like your reviews are very good. We liked how people kind of just didn't just compliment you on your playing, but how you conduct yourself as a businessman, how you conduct your business as well, and how the value offers. I think that's what helped me. It wasn't just the playing, it was just how sort of, because when people do want to book me or if I get an inquiry, I always try and set up a phone call because I want to build that trust with people, because obviously, because I always say like having a good website, socials is good, but I always say with me, you want to be able to take all that back and know that there's still someone of added value. So again, you get to know me, you kind of see what I'm like, you build in that trust. So again, and to be fair, last year I did get a bit lazy with that because I got to a point where, well, I've got a good website, I've got good social, what do they need to see? Like, but again, it's just that reassurance really as well. And just so I always have a sort of phone. So again, I think that's what helped me when it was just how I conduct myself as a businessman and just how I run my company really. So yeah, they were really impressed. So yeah, I won that award. So I got a big sort of plaque in, or like a glass trophy in the post, and then I went to Leeds just to kind of have my interview and collect my award. Because how it is it's not, you don't go for like an awards even, it's just more you go and have your interview. And like I met people there who'd won. So there was a guy who won best karate school. There was a woman there who won best personal trainer of the year, best Pilates instructor. So it was all different kind of people celebrating small businesses and sole traders. So it's really good. It was really cool. And like people I met there and the people who ran it were really, really nice, really welcoming as well. And so that was great. So to be an award-winning saxophonist is always good, because I tried in the past. So obviously I only got to the regional finals, but it's nice now because I'm also, with my work with the Creative Meetup, I'm now getting recognised for awards that aren't just to do with music. So
correct.
So last year I was up for marketing and creative person of the year for the Manchester Young Talent Awards. It's very similar to how Tweer set up. So you get nominated, you become a finalist, and then potentially win. I only was a finalist for that. But to be nominated for something that isn't a music award is still kind of feels it's still. Yeah, it's really nice. And then this week I'm up for, so it's the Made in Manchester Awards. I'm up for Business Owner and Entrepreneur of the Year for that. So I can't make the event. I was gutted, but I can't make it. But I'm up for that. That's this Thursday, or tomorrow that is. So so I don't know when this comes out. So I've either won it or not won it. So but yes, I don't know. But no, to win that last year was really good, because I think the main reason I won it was because of my clients. And I say to them and the thing I said to them, and when I posted it on social, I said, look, this goes out to all my clients, because you're the reason I won this. Your positive feedback, your how you responded to me was how was the reason I won it, really. So again, I really this award is really because of them, really. So I'm very grateful to the clients I have, because I do have incredible clients. And I'm very grateful, really, and they're the reason I won this award. Yeah.
Sick, man. Yeah, no, being an award winner, you can always put that in your bio, award winning. Do you know what I mean? It helps with everything else and kind of puts you in the stature. So yeah, man, congratulations for that. I saw that and I thought that was really cool. And good luck on obviously your award for tomorrow. This is going to be coming out at a later date, so we'll probably have to touch back and see how that kind of went for you. And All right. Last but not least, do you know what I did I saw on your social is that you're very into your fitness. It seems like you are a bit of a CrossFitter, and some of the things I echo to a lot of us, and I just don't think it's about DJs. I think it's for everyone inside the wedding industry, or creatives, or people that are self-employed and having fitness in your life is such an important thing. So what benefits do you say that you have got from your fitness? And are you still regular in it? Is it something that you still do? How's your fitness journey going so far?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's just, it gives me, as much as I love what I do, I still need a break from it from time to time. So it's just nice because I can, if I do a CrossFit class or I do a fitness class, it just gives me that time away from my phone. So I'm not always, because problem with our job, I do find one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to be more present, be in the moment. And it's hard because sometimes you get an inquiry coming in. I always get people saying, "Oh, thank you so much for the quick response," but it's because I'm sometimes just glued on my phone. I'm just glued to my phone. Obviously, I do try and make sure I do reply very quickly to people, but it's sometimes just because I'm just there looking at my phone. So I am trying. It's easier said than done, but I'm trying 100%. Trying to be more present. And the gym and the fitness side is good because it gives me an hour or two away from my phone, away from work. I can just concentrate on something else. And so obviously, when you're in your 20s, I'll be honest, I think a lot of blokes in their 20s, the only reason they go to the gym is so they can look attractive to someone they like. And I think that's true now. But now, obviously, I'm with someone. But my fiance, she's a personal trainer as well, so it's her life. It's and one of the reasons why she said we're together is because I was always in. She's never understood CrossFit, but she's like, you're into your gym, you're into your fitness, and that's why I think we get on. We've always got on well, and it's just for now. Now I'm in my 30s. It's more obviously I want to look good and feel good in myself, but it just keeps me sort of. Again, because it can be very physical, this job. I mean, it can be very tiring, not just physically, but mentally as well. And the gym is just kind of, it's a way I can just kind of have a bit of a break from my work. So again, if I've just been because this time of year now, the gigs there's not a lot of gigs. The only time I really gig this time of year, like January, February, is if usually I'll do the last weekend in January, and then if someone needs a bit of cover, I'll come in, sort of step in, or someone like last minute sort of jobs really. But this time of year, I'm staring at my laptop, I'm sat down, I'm usually like hunched over, kind of. So the gym's just nice. I can kind of just sort of just not sat on my backside. I can kind of just be like go and just kind of have 2 hours away from my phone. I can just kind of get anything. Again, even if I'm like annoyed with something, or I'm just something's really annoyed me, or like again they've like, oh yeah, we've I don't know, it's like say, oh, our DJ wants you to pay to plug in, then I can just go to the gym and just kind of, instead of just no, he's a knobhead, don't book him, I can just kind of, I can come back to that email.
Yeah, and when you get back, it's not as heavy. You're like, I don't know what. If he wants to be like, that's cool. It is what it is.
Yeah, so it's good. And then obviously we're doing CrossFit. You do like CrossFit competitions. It's nice because I used to compete in basketball when I was younger. So and it was good. You can just do things you didn't think you'd do again. So I did a High Rocks in Copenhagen last year. That was hard, even though I trained really hard for it. It was still very hard, but it was good. It was just, and I think it's doing that, and I always try and post it as well because people can kind of get to know me a bit better. Like because before I met David, and even when I think if you just post your saxophone stuff on your social, it's a bit robotic as well. You just kind of think, oh, you post photos, and sometimes you might talk to the camera, but again, it's just kind of the same thing with showing all aspects of what you do and what you like again. And also, like, I think, especially when building a personal brand, I always say you want people to be able to list 5 things about you. So with me, I'm a big Arsenal fan, love Arsenal. I love my CrossFit, fitness. I love coffee. So, and then a few other things I like to read. Again, you want people to be able to list sort of. Obviously, I play the saxophone, but you want people to be able to list a few things that they know about you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, about who you are and what you like, and so it's again with the fitness side, it's a way for me to kind of be a bit more present. And with what's good with CrossFit gyms is that they're very community based as well. They're very welcoming. They're very much like Creative Meetup. It's like a sense of belonging. Like if you go, I'm also a member of Pure Gym as well, but I only use Pure Gym when I'm traveling around. So again, it's just easier for me to use. But again, you use a commercial gym, it's not very welcoming. It's just everyone's doing their own thing. But you go to independent gyms, they're very community based. So like the gym my fiance works at, again, they're very welcoming, very community based. Like we play football every Wednesday as well. We've got a team. So again, it's just something where even though you love something, it doesn't hurt to have a break from it as well. Sometimes
100%.
Because people say, have you got any hobbies? But they think obviously what I do is a hobby. So it's like, so say, well, what hobby you can't have any hobbies because what you're doing is a hobby. And well, no, there are other things I do other than just playing the saxophone. So like you could say the gym and fitness is my hobby now. But again, with the whole gym aspect now, it's more obviously looking good, feeling good, but again, it's just a way for kind of be more present, and I'm not looking at my phone. I can kind of just take a bit of a break, because sometimes you do get, when I'm thinking of ideas for the Creative Meetup and I just can't think of anything, it's good to just come away, because that's when my ideas come, and I'm like doing a bench press and then an idea comes to me. I'm like, oh, I could do that. So again, sometimes not just staring at your laptop is not all the ideas are going to come to you straight away. Sometimes you just go, even just going for a walk, going out in nature as well.
No, 100%. That one's always a good one. That one's like probably the most obtainable for most people. And some people don't think about it, but just simply going for a walk. And if you can get into, like when I had Tony Roberts on, Tony Roberts talks a lot about walking and what it done for him over the years. Now he's running marathons and he's doing all sorts. But once again, it helps, like you're saying, time away. Most importantly, mental health, like the way it helps your mind figure things, because you can get in a brain fog when you're, whether it is you're comparing yourself to others or you're thinking, like sometimes we can get down on ourselves and we're only thinking of the negative things. We're like, oh man, that's not going right. That's not going right. That's not going right. And sometimes just going for that walk and coming back puts your mindset in a fully flip. So then instead of thinking about that's not going right, you start having a bit more gratitude and thinking about the things that are going right. You're like, actually, things are not as bad as I thought. I don't know why I was in that little cloud, but
exactly
helped clear that up. So yeah, man,
absolutely, absolutely. So it's just a way for me to just clear my head and just kind of, just do something else, because like yeah, I love what I do, but sometimes I do need a bit of a break from it sometimes, just to kind of just go back it with a fresh mind. And just so again, and also I'm not building up, because I've seen many people who do what I do and then end up hating it. Because I did another podcast and they said to me, like, obviously, has your mindset changed now you make money from what you do compared to when you first started? Because obviously when you start it's a passion, but then obviously the business side, and because I'm sure you might get this as well. You get friends. Oh, can you do this for me? But can you do it for free and stuff? And it's like, no, not really. No, because it's like, this is my job. I can maybe do you a discount, but I can't. And so again, I think it's that mind. And I don't want to end up resenting. I do love what I do and stuff, but I have to remember this is also my job now. It's how I make a living, and it's so again, I don't want to lose that love for it, because I do love it, but again, that little boy is still there who loved it and who was very passionate about it, or that teenager. But then the kind of business man in me kind of has to be like, no, you've got it. Is it worth your time? Is it worth that? Again, this kind of, you don't want it to kind of drain you to the point where you don't enjoy it anymore. So again, it's just going back to that balance, that where you're doing stuff away from it. And then, because what's good about this time of year as well, I've got a few weekends off as well, and because I'm doing a lot more weekday weddings as well. Are you doing a lot more weekdays?
Yeah, weekdays was popped off definitely a lot last year, and I can see it's happening this year, because obviously dates are filling up for a lot of people. Saturdays are becoming more pricey, and they're not as available. So if people are planning their weddings late, then a Thursday is starting to happen now. Mondays, Wednesdays, which is good for us, because it makes it that we don't have to work on the weekend now. If you've got if you've got kids and you want to spend time with your kids, at least that way you can do a Thursday or Friday and still be able to tide yourself over. So I think it's a good thing, and it gives more people options for different budgets and things of that nature. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So again, with being able to like work on a weekday as well, because I looked at my diary for this year and I've just like, I've got a few weekends now where I'm just not going to fill them. I'm going to have them off now. And if nothing does come from it from a social aspect, then no problem. Last year was the year of a lot of last minute, like people. Like I had someone inquire who wanted me to work last weekend for their wedding. Like this was a week before as well, and I'm like, no, I'm not free. So it's just like, also so many. Yeah, again, a lot of people. I was talking to Mark about this as well. It's like a lot of last minute stuff. So again, it's like I don't have to fill it, so I'll keep that weekend free. And if nothing social comes out of it, well, I can take something last minute. Again, that might be a bit closer to home as well, so I don't have to travel. So, but again, it's just. Yeah, I'm not filling those weekends now, so it's nice now because I can spend a bit more time with my other half, because she used to be a swimming teacher, but now she's working as a personal trainer, so the hours have changed. So she was up at 5 o'clock this morning to open the gym and take the 6 o'clock class and that. So again, but it's nice now because I've had a few weekends off now, where we can just spend a bit of time. Just to be honest, because people say like, oh, well, if you're off this weekend, do you want to go out? And sometimes I just lay on the sofa. It's like, because sometimes I've gone to I'm getting ready to go for a gig, and I go and sit down. I'm just like, I could just sit here all night and just not do anything. So sometimes like people are like, oh, do you go out? And I'm like, no, I just get a Nando's or just chill sometimes.
Not as much as you think. You think that, you must be like, no, it's like, no. When I'm not working, I prefer to just chill. So it's like a recharge. And then when I'm working, I'm full on. So then that way, that's kind of like, we call it the balance. The balance.
The balance, yeah, exactly. So, but it's just sort of going back to the gym stuff. It's just a way, so I'm more present. I'm not glued to my phone. I'm not glued to a computer screen. I can just kind of refresh my mind and then come back to work feeling refreshed. And then again, I'm still loving what I'm doing. I'm not resenting it as well, really. That's the thing I worry about. I don't want to get to a point where I don't enjoy it anymore. Like I want to make sure I still enjoy it and love it, because that's why I went into it, because I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like working for people. I like being my own boss. Even though I've worked at some venues and they think you're part of the members' staff, but you're not. So it's like,
like relax, mate. Mind your tone. I'm not exactly. on PAYE, bruv.
Exactly. So again, it's just so I'm still enjoying it and I still love it, and that little boy who used to enjoy it, still that passion is still there anyway. So yeah.
No, I love that, man. Wow, man, Joe, man. Thank you so much for joining me on today's pod, bro. It's been really insightful hearing your story, the work you've put in. like even going through your social, you can see like, yeah, your uni times, especially in Newcastle, it looks like you've definitely racked up your 10,000 hours. I'll be surprised if you haven't. Do you think you have? Do you think you've done your 10,000, or do you think you're
I
still
probably,
looking to go?
yeah, my time at uni, I definitely did because I had a that's when my work ethic really kind of kicked in. So my final year, I would get up, if I hadn't been out the night before, I'd be getting up at 6 o'clock, go and practice for two hours. Say I get to a practice room for about 6:30, 7, practice till about 8:30, 8:45 before my lecture starts, and then because I always say to people, because people say, "Oh, do you still practice at home?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do to a certain extent, but it's." Because when you're going into this, you realise that you've got to prioritise other things. You've got to put yourself out there. So you can't. It's all well and good sitting behind a closed door and practicing, but you need to show people that you need to get out there. Because what was the real key point for me was I just got some business cards, went around all the bars and clubs in Newcastle and just put myself out there. Again, okay, sacrifice some practice time, but again, I've got to, and a lot of the time now,
get some work in, innit?
Exactly, yeah, you've got to get the work. So sometimes because I'm out and about all the time, I don't have time to practice. The time I really get to practice is probably when I'm on gigs, really, now. That's my practice time now, because again, if you're doing a wedding where again you're going with the vibe but no one's dancing, that's when you kind of, well, this is just a paid practice session.
Yeah, let's just go for it. I'm just going to keep vibing.
Yeah, exactly. So again, that's probably, I'd say probably the most practicing I get is when I'm on gigs, really, to be honest. So it's but no, I think, and when I speak to uni students who are either in their second or starting their third year, just use that time, practice everything, play as much as you can. Yeah, get that 10,000 hours in.
Get that 10,000 hours
and
in.
then just because you will take a hit when you go out. I mean, I still do. My neighbours have got a baby now, so I've got to be mindful when I do practice now, really. But it's but no, I definitely probably did get my 10,000 hours in. But now it's more, again, the business sense. I'm now meeting people, putting myself out there, posting stuff on socials. Now it's more, and then that's kind of showing people. So that kind of takes up more time than practicing. But again, I put in those hours so that I can have 2 weeks off and not touch my saxophone, but then go back on a gig and it's fine because I use that time to practice. I mean, my jaw's a little bit achy, but apart from that, it's I can just go back into it even with 2 weeks off. Yeah.
Oh, say no more, man. Say no more. Well, guys, like I have said, man, I have put all of Joe's contacts inside the description. Definitely check out the Creative Meetup. I think that is going to be a great thing for anyone who's up in that area or anyone who's attending. You're going to definitely get something from it. Like I've said before, I look at some of these things like TK Maxx. When you go to these things, you don't know what you're going to get, but you're going to get something good. So the main thing is go to them. So you're going to go and get something good, man. Joe, man, thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast, man. Before you leave, is there anything you want to leave with the people? I was letting people say the last few words. Is there anything you want to leave on the pod? Anything at all? Literally can be anything.
Oh, anything. So if you are, do you like a bit of sort of a motivational, or just kind of my sort of motto for when booking
just your
me?
Motto, just your motto as a creative, and remember you're talking to other creatives. So just your motto. As a creative.
If you are a creative and you're starting out, and then like with me, because obviously I put my prices up. If you're good at what you do, never compete on price, always compete on value. Value is so important, really, because I'll get people say, oh, well, I've had more competitive price. I'm like, that's fine, but I'm not going to compete on price. I'm going to compete on value, because I feel, again, like my award I won kind of backs up because I'm offering value. So my advice for any creatives out there who are starting out, but you believe in what you do, don't compete on price, compete on value.
Yeah, definitely. And know your value to make sure that you're getting what you deserve, man. Thank you so much again, Joe, man. Like I said, all of his links are in the description. I hope you've enjoyed this insightful episode of the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast. Other than that, we're going to see you same time, same place for some more gems right here on the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast. So stay tuned until next week. Cheers! Oh, sick, man. Sick, man.
Sorry, just before you ask the next question, I've just realised my laptop, what I'm plugged into, the charger's not working. I've only just looked at my battery, so I'm just going to get my other lead, if that's all right, man.
Yeah,
So
sure. No problem.
just so I don't die mid-conversation and you wonder, well, yeah.
That's
So
all
I only
good.
just realised it's not working. So, yeah, sorry, man. I only just literally looked at it now and I was like, oh, it's not been charging the whole time. So I've just been like, oh, sweet, cool.
Do you know what I love about that? You see the content that I've put out about like limiters. Now, when someone inquires, they'll say the venue's got a limiter. Like,
Yeah.
are you happy with it? And I'm like, I've played there before, and no, I'm not.
Yeah. I've got one down near Essex where the venue does have a limiter, but they're looking at changing venues. I'm like, and they've given me a new date, and I'm free on that date. So I'm like, please change venue, please change venue, please change
the
venue,
venue, man. Because
please change. Yes. When she sent me that email, and I was like, I checked the date, and I was just like, oh yes, get in, come on, change, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna message them and say like, look, because it's a 2027, so I'm gonna say like, how important is that venue to you? And if they say like, oh yeah, we love it, it's you know, we want it, that's what we're doing, then I'll be like, oh, do you know what? Okay, in that I won't diss the venue in that if that makes sense. But if they're like, oh, we're not precious, I'll be like, well, for me, if you, I don't know what kind of music genres you're after, but if you want hip hop, R&B, you want Afro beats, you want grime, you want garage, you want house. If you want that energy, that venue is going to struggle to push it. It's aesthetically pleasing, but it's in the residential area, so you don't want that. You don't want that.
Yeah, because I did an old school friend, because I'm at that age now where people I went to school getting married now, and I'm getting asked to do weddings, and it was just outside of Ipswich. Lovely venue, but I looked at where it was and I thought, they're probably gonna. I'll put. I'm not a betting man, but I bet they'll have a sound limiter. And they didn't have. Yeah, they had a sound limiter, but we had to go through their speakers. And I only found out the week, but it was horrendous. I didn't even plug in because the music was just so quiet, even during the first dance. And like, it was just. And I wrote a letter to the venue saying, look, I recently performed at your venue, lovely venue. I understand why, because again, it was right in the slap bang in the middle of a village, so I get it. And I said to him, but in the however many years I've been gigging as a DJ, I've been gigging as a saxophonist in the wedding industry, I have never seen a poorly set up sound system. It was just, I just said, tried again, not to try and be really rude, but just saying like, it was just absolutely appalling. Luckily, they were happy with what I did, but I felt so bad. And also, I knew 60% of the people there, and it was one of those gigs. I'm like, oh God, I know most of the people here.
This is not looking good. This is not looking good.
My friend who was used to be a nightclub DJ was in, and the first thing he said to me goes, have you seen the speakers? I'm like, don't start. Even he was like, oh bloody hell, you've got to plug in through that. And I'm like, oh mate, don't. He said, oh, but yeah. And have you ever done the Fens just outside Braintree?
The Fens, no. That's in Essex? That's in Essex, right? That is in
Essex,
right?
yeah. Because we have to, I don't know if it's changed, but you have to go through their sound system, and it's shit.
Do you know what's funny? An inquiry came in the other day for that, the Fens, and the person cancelled their meeting, so I had I had the thingy for them next week Monday, and they cancelled their thing. So I messaged them and I said to them, like, are you like have you cancelled because you found another option, or like do you need more time, or whatever it is? And then she just come back saying, at the moment we're having a problem we're having an issue with the venue. And I think what you're saying is what they've found out, because they've looked into it. A limiter, let's go and have a look, and then they can see there is a limiter, and then probably messaged them and said, we never knew there was a limiter, and they're like, oh yeah, there is, 90 decibel, and the DJ we want, he's saying the minimum he should do is like 95, like 90,
95,
and then they're saying plug in, like you said, plug in, and I always say when you have plug-in systems, most of the time they're not good. There's only been one or two that I've plugged into that are good, but most of them are like.
No, they're not usually very, because I've done 2 working men's social clubs last year where they said to me, we've got our own sound system. And I was like, I'll bring my own speaker, but I turned up, top quality speakers, and they had a sound guy. He had all the adapters to plug in my music, plug it, and could not have been more. And I thought, bloody hell, this is like just a working men's, and I'm like, why don't wedding venues have
Why
this
don't they
kind
do,
of level?
this level?
Mental. And I thought,
Yeah.
surely a wedding venue's business turnover is more than a working men's. And I'm like, and this is twice now I've had this where a working men's social club have got top of the range, speak like bows. They even had RCFs, and I was like, bloody hell. And I'm like, but there are some wedding venues that do have their own, but it's usually the multi-purpose venues. So like if they put on concerts or certain things, that's the only time that the speakers are good, because it's multi-purpose. It's not just for weddings.
They've got to do multi-film.
Yeah, exactly. But it just annoys me. But there's some I think are getting better. But again, I was working with a mate of mine at the end of the year, and he goes, and we were talking about, he said, they're going to be in every venue, aren't they, soon? I'm like, oh, please don't say that. Please don't say that. Because it's just, either I'm just going to be able to, because it's going to get to a point where I'm only going to be able to offer daytime performances. If it
Literally. Because then it's like, you can't play anywhere because it's just not working. But anyway,
sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't realise, Mike. Yeah, so
that's all good. That's all good. We've got 2 more points and then we are going to wrap up. Okay, so we're gonna go for that part when you rap, and we're gonna cut back into this part.
Cool.
All right, Joe. So I looked on your socials, and it looks like you won an award, and the award was